Who are we playing next? Is it Newcastle away?
Yes.
You going up there, getting the wheelchair up the M1?
Nah, unfortunately not. No, I don't have a season ticket, so
All right.
planning to get one next season.
So, Wheelsy, tell us about yourself. Let's hear. How did you become a Spurs follower? What's your background story?
All right, so my story is I live local, right? I live in Cheshunt, which is just outside of Tottenham, and I come from a family of Spurs supporters, so it naturally comes from there. And I only picked up on it recently. I didn't really follow football when I was younger, but as soon as I think it was when Nuno started managing the team. Unfortunately, that's when I went to my first game. It was the City game where we won 1-0.
Oh,
That was my first game of the season.
Yeah.
it's a great game.
It was a great game, but then it went to shit after that. So
It did. So your family's been supporters for a long time. That means who in your family was the patriarch of the Spurs? Like do you have any interesting stories or anything from the history?
well, to be honest with you, no, not really, because my family aren't diehard Spurs fans. They're not really hooligans. I pretty much picked up on it myself because I went to college and that's what everyone would talk about at college was football, and I just picked up from there. I needed a team to follow through and through, and then Tottenham was just the answer because it was always there, because my family roots.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
that's great.
I'm sorry. I feel sorry for you.
It's alright, mate.
It means you're gonna have a life of misery, and we'll be right there with you.
As if I haven't had enough misery in my life already. It's fine.
What do you mean? What has happened in your life, Wheelsy?
Yeah. Wheels.
Where should we start? Nah, it's
At the
all
waist.
good.
Well,
Spurs is where it's at the minute. It's fine. It's all good. Spurs is my happy place at the minute. So
right. So I actually had a question. I had a question for everybody on the pod today. It was about Wheels, because you we'll just ask it. So do you guys have a player that you hate to love, either current or former player? Meaning you hate the fact that you either love them that they're on the squad now, or you hate the fact that you love them and they're not on the squad anymore. Like they're gone, but you still love them and you don't you have no idea why.
Are we talking Tottenham specific?
that's a good question. Actually.
Yeah. They've either played for Tottenham now or they played for Tottenham.
I can't say I have one. If I was to think off the top of my head, I would say Ndombele, because obviously when he signed, he looked world class and everyone was gassing him up, and then he just dropped form. He was our most prized player when we went to the Champions League final.
Yep.
Spent all of our money on him, and then he just went to shit. So if that was a player I'd mention, it would have to be him.
Do you still like him though? You still like him as a player? You still, obviously we all wish he'd be great, but what are we gonna do?
Yeah, well, I don't really follow the Turkish league at the minute, but I haven't heard good things. So
Well, they've just won a trophy, haven't they, Galatasaray? So
oh, did they?
yeah. So
just out of the loop.
Sanchez and Ndombele and whoever the other one is that went over there.
Zaha. It's from Crystal Palace. But
There was another Tottenham player, wasn't it? I'm sure it was.
Yeah, there was. I can't remember who.
Was it Aurier? Is it him?
It might be. To
by
be
the
fair,
way,
I don't think.
Bayern Munich.
Yeah,
I've just got a penalty.
I just saw that. I don't think Turkish people even follow the Turkish league in your defense, Wheels. So,
yeah.
I'll say one player that came to my mind, and I've talked about him before on the pod a long time ago, but I love him to death, but I don't know why, and I kind of despise the fact that I love him. That's Lamela. I don't know why. He's such.
Yes.
It's like I have a man crush on him, I think.
I know what you mean with Lamela, because he was...
His shithousing was fantastic.
Yeah, that's what it was, because watching him play, it's always like he was running through toffee. He never looked comfortable on the ball, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. But I mean, those the year he got what's that fucking award that he got for that unbelievable
Puskas.
goal? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, the Puskas. Rabona.
Yeah, unbelievable. It's so pretty. So pretty.
Bayern 2-1, by the way.
Didn't he? Yeah, we love that.
Yep, 2-1. Yeah, so that's that. Josh, no players from you?
I'm trying to think. I've never love? Was it hate that I loved someone or love that I hated someone?
We'll go both the directions, I guess.
I mean, undoubtedly, there is him. 'Cause obviously, like Will said, it's he came with all the hype, didn't he? And he was meant to be Dembele's replacement, etc. It never worked out, but you couldn't make yourself hate him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But
he's an easy one to hate, I think.
yeah, Chadley. I think I had a problem with him. I don't know what it was. I know he just seemed to always be like. He never played. Like, he always kept himself comfortable, if you know what I mean. He never would try the extravagant stuff. He always seemed to play easy. I never really thought much of him. He just seemed a bit of a... He looks like the type of guy that when you go on holiday, he'll be handing out shots outside a nightclub to try and get you to come in. He gives me that sort of vibe. I don't know. It's quite a hard question, but I think, Chadley I just found very boring.
I have no idea who the fuck that is. So.
You don't know who Chadley is?
No, the dolphin.
I haven't been
Chadley.
following long enough to know who Chadley is either. So
Oh no!
yeah.
Really?
Oh, he was boring.
And
But
James is
proper-
here, everybody. James
He
is
was a
here.
proper vanilla player.
I'll have
Yeah,
to look him up.
Chadley, he basically frequented all the laser hair treatment shops, didn't he? Throughout North
Basically,
London.
yeah.
Yeah, he had his skin was basically akin to that of a dolphin. That's why he was called the Dolphin.
He's the reason there's loads of Turkish barbers now. He owns them.
Fair enough.
So my player would be Teddy Sheringham. I think I've said this on the pod before. Do you guys know the story?
Oh, you said he's a
I said
knob.
it. Yeah. So when I was 14, in '94, it was when Jurgen Klinsmann was signed in his first season, and they were in Cockfosters training back then, North London. That's Cockfosters for you Americans. Foster Cox in that area.
Oh,
and
okay, got it.
yeah, and it's a real name, by the way. It's a real place, and basically we were allowed in to the car park. The reason why we were allowed into the car park was Colin Calderwood, the centre back, let us in, and there was about 5 or 6 of us. We were off school that day, and like Jerry Francis, the manager, would never allow us in. When Ozzy Ardiles was the manager in that same season before he got sacked, we were always allowed in and stood by the pitch. But then Jerry Francis came in and stopped all of that. So Colin Calderwood let us in, and I was 14. I was leaning sort of mildly on Teddy Sheringham's car. He had a purplish Mercedes SL, and he came in. He goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" He was so nasty, like really, really nasty. And I saw Jurgen Klinsmann's face, and he was like looking at him like, "Just don't do that to the fans." Anyway, Jurgen then, after nearly cried and got off his car, Jurgen pulled us over. He said, "You can come and stand by my car." He had the Beetle, and we did. Colin Calder had his boxes in his car, I remember, and he was asking us to help him get them out of the car, which was weird. And Jurgen was an absolute gentleman. So I hated Teddy Sheringham, but what a player. Does that make sense?
Would you like to introduce yourself to Wheels, James, before just rudely interrupting our conversation we were having?
I'm
there?
so sorry. Hi, Wheelsy. You've been sort
Hello.
of chatting to me on and off on Twitter.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think you know who I am. I missed the first bit of the pod. Basically, I had to take the minions out to dinner, and it just basically got back in now.
You didn't miss a
Oh,
lot.
that's fair enough.
Yeah, I haven't talked about Josh's mom yet, and
Oh, that's a shame.
yeah, Hannah's
I'm
not here,
sure
so
there's
no,
always time.
I know.
What's so special about Josh's mum?
Oh, God.
Fake boobs.
Yep.
She's a proper MILF.
Yeah.
She's a prostitute.
All those. she can be if you want it to be. You said that, not me. But she's you know those fantasies you have, Wheelsy, about older women. That's Josh's.
I mean,
mum.
me not personally, no, but I can see where you're coming from.
Well,
I think his fantasies are based on walking.
No, I've got donuts. Don't worry, I can spin around. That's good. It's good enough.
Fucking hell. Josh is so good at making friends, isn't he?
Oh no, I haven't left my house in months. No one,
Proper social
no one wants to
butterfly.
see me. Right.
Oh, lovely dead
Just
air.
went down.
Yeah.
No, my stream just went down.
That's a good thing, Josh.
Yeah,
no,
we haven't
Bayern
had.
Munich are winning.
Are they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
What's the score?
2-1.
2-1
Oh,
because of the penalty.
Let me put it on 1 minute. Go on, carry on talking. I'm going to mute myself and we're going to put it on. Complete professionalism here.
Perfect. Where's the fucking running order? Let's see here.
It wasn't really much. I had to quickly put it together. We haven't even done an intro or anything.
No,
have we?
we
haven't
haven't.
introduced ourselves.
We haven't. I want to do that question again, though. That's a good question. I think that's a good question about who you hate and who you love on the squad. Anyway,
Where are we up to? Right, Nottingham Forest. There we go.
No. Who? What? Who did we play last week?
Yes, I didn't know who we played last week.
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest. We won 3-1. Let's discuss. Johnny, would you like to go first? Oh no, actually, you sit back. Wheels was there.
I was there, yeah. So, my ball knowledge is as good as my walking ability, but I'll try my best here. Alright, so, as always, we were fucking terrible in the first half. We wasn't pressing as we should have been. The defence was nowhere to be seen. But the second half, we turned up the pressure. We were where we needed to be. We was actually shooting out nearly outside the box, and then we got the result. So I think if we learn anything from that game, we just need to try and just score from open play a bit more.
That's a good summary, I think. Yeah. I think your knowledge is better than mine, Wheels, and I think I've been watching Tottenham longer than you, amazingly.
That's just what I could come up with.
And I can walk, so I got that on you.
True.
You do live in America, so that levels it out.
Right. So my IQ is naturally a little bit lower. That's a good point. That's true, Josh.
I think we're pretty on par here.
Yeah.
Yes, an American is basically like a Englishman with cerebral palsy. That's fantastic.
Of course.
Oh, I'm so uncomfortable.
That's fucking amazing. I am too.
I love it here. I'm definitely coming back.
I am too, James.
I don't know if I will, but yeah, I mean...
If you will.
You will.
Guys, I've got a few points to make about the game, right? So...
I don't know, is there a line? Is there a line we can cross with? Or are we just go in?
Honestly, just fucking go for it. I don't give a shit. Just go for it.
I love you.
We're all
already.
Spurs fans. We self-deprecate. It's what we are. It's what our makeup is, right? So,
It's our DNA.
Yeah.
right. So let me ask you something.
True.
When Wheelsy, you were there, what did you make of Bissouma?
I didn't really see him do much. Like, obviously, he got sent off at the start of the second half, but I could see he had good ball control. Apart from that, I didn't really see much from him. Obviously, he still hasn't scored his first goal for Tottenham, and he was just a tad underwhelming, to be honest.
So,
I
you know
don't
what?
I don't personally think he's been... Don't get me wrong, he's not been fantastic. But I don't get... It seems to be, after every week, someone gets scapegoated. Last week it was Kulusevski. This week it's Bissouma. It's like, we can't seem to go a game or a week without hating a different player.
Yeah.
So next week it'll be someone else that everyone has... So it doesn't matter what the result is.
Mate,
No
it's
one's
not...
happy unless it is-
But it's not hating. So I want to just... Right, okay. Let's pull up the internet, and here we go. So I just want to run some stuff off you guys, and you tell me what you think. Right, okay. Sure. How many goals have Tottenham Hotspur conceded? Without looking at the league table, how many goals?
47 or something, is it?
I
You're
have
close.
no idea.
51,
So we're on
47.
So we're on
36,
45.
no.
We're on 45 goals conceded, right? That's 14 more than the third place team, right? You can say, but the third place team is Man City. All right, fair enough. But that's terrible. Now, in context, you can say that's terrible. But then let me throw this one at you. You know our defence that consists of Porro, Van der Ven, Romero, and Udogie, would you say that they are, I wouldn't say world class, not yet, would you say that they're quality defenders? Quality players. Let's go with
The
that. Let's not
centre-backs,
say
I would
defenders.
say. Centre-backs, I'd say, in terms
Yeah.
of defending. The other two, I reckon they're more attacking-based defenders than defenders, if you know what I mean.
Agreed.
All right.
Like-
So then, yeah, I agree with you, right? So that's why it's like a leading question. I'm just doing a Ricky Sacks here. Just bear with me. So
God, we're here for
basically,
hours.
basically, where I'm going with this is that we're either lacking a proper number 6, okay, someone who can really shield the defense, or we play in a certain way, which means that we will always concede. Right, and I don't know if it's a bit of both. It probably is. It normally is like that, right? What do you guys think?
I think it's a little of both. I think the Ange's style is going to be more open play and free flowing, which means we're going to have times where we concede. Especially last week with that first goal, I think it was a great example of just we were playing out and free, and we just couldn't get guys back fast enough to help, and it just turned into a shit show with fucking. Went through 2 different players' nuts, right?
Well,
I
so
find
if
our style of play is very kamikaze, isn't it?
I love it.
Well,
Yeah, but
I've
is it
got a
though?
problem with it.
But is it or? So I'll throw another stat at you. Oh, I actually don't know the exact numbers. Rodri, when he has played, City haven't lost in, is it 53 or 57 games? And he is their number
Something like
6. And he is, I mean, City, you could say, played very similar to us. Who's
Very
that?
unprofessional.
Who is that? That's not
Who do you
even me.
think
I mean,
it is? Who do you think it is? Come on, you know it's
not me.
You know it's me.
Terrible. Terrible.
It's always the Yanks, isn't it?
Yep.
So if you take a player like Rodri out of City, they would, because out of the top 3, they're the ones who've conceded the most. So only one more than Liverpool, but they have. And maybe you can say that, well, it was when Rodri was out for 3 games after we got that suspension this season. But if we were to have a player like Rodri, that's a silly thing to say, would we suffer as much as we do?
I think the midfield is very important in football, and right now it seems like we don't have like the structure to like hold the ball up in them areas, because we usually play out wide. It seems like we like depend on our wingers, but if we control the ball through the midfield, we might actually have a chance of conceding less and getting the results that we deserve. But
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we'll talk about maybe transfers a bit later. Is it even on the running order? I don't know, but maybe we can add it to the running order. I just think that we have really good players in our defensive line, but something is lacking, and I think maybe it's not so much the tactics. Well, I suppose the tactics are a direct correlation to it, but I believe it is the playing staff. I think that Bissouma, whatever's happened to him, I mean, he started off all right in the first, I would say, 15 minutes, and then he to me seemed to like he disappeared, and that was that, you know. Højbjerg was all right when he came on.
What I find with Bissouma is he's a player that when he's good, he's only good when he's like expressing himself. He's a confidence player, I think. So I just maybe think his confidence is just down a little bit. But the only thing with a confidence player is if you drop them, you then damage their confidence even more. So it's a bit of a catch-22 of how to deal with them. But yeah, like you said, Højbjerg, when he came on, I mean, I'm one of his biggest critics. I despise the guy. But when he came on, he changed him and Bentancur. I thought they were fantastic when they came on, personally.
I thought Bentancur changed the whole game. Højbjerg had a great game. He had a couple, Højbjerg moments where he just kind of passed it out of bounds and out of reach.
Of bounds.
What are you
No
saying?
one says that in England.
Okay, what am I supposed to say, Joshua?
Just kicked off the pitch.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
kicked it
Simple.
out.
Kicked it out.
Out of bounds.
It's
Say golf.
Right. Okay. So, anyways, yeah, I thought Bentancur is really the whole hitch of the match was him coming on. Højbjerg definitely helped do that. I still contend that Højbjerg is a much more effective replacement at halftime or in the second half than he is a starter. I don't know if it's he can sit there and just watch the match and see things, or if it's just his knowledge of the game. I don't know what it is. I can't even remember who said it first. It might have been somebody on here. Don't know. Don't care. I'm buying it as my own now. So he's a better player when you bring him on in the second half than he is a starter.
No, it's true though, isn't it? It is. I mean, it. But you know what? For the first time in ages, I thought he looked like he wasn't out of place.
Yeah.
Other than the thing that he did on the 6-yard box or the 18-yard area where he nearly played him in. Other than that, he was great.
Going back to Basuma, I don't think he's been the same since that red card he got for diving. It's
true.
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. I mean, he obviously that takes his head completely out of the game for a couple of weeks, and then after that it was he had an injury, didn't he? Did he? I don't remember.
He went to AFCON as well.
I know went to AFCON. I thought he got sick. Didn't he get sick in AFCON? At least.
I think it was something like malaria or something.
Yeah. So I mean, he just hasn't been the same. He hasn't been the same. But I mean, I guess you could realistically say that the whole squad hasn't been the same since the beginning of the season, because we came out like gangbusters and just started fucking raping the field.
Ange Ball at its finest.
Yep. Ange Ball's best when it's rapey.
He got, if I'm not mistaken, he got sent off on the 7th of October. Right, we won 1-0. He then did he get sent off in the Chelsea game, or was that Udogie? Someone who got sent off?
That was Udogie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Udogie and
Romero
got sent. I'm sure. Didn't he get sent off again before he went to AFCON?
I think he got a 5th yellow card,
yep.
which resulted in like a 1-match ban or something. But
yep, he got a 5th yellow. That's what it was.
Right. And is the malaria thing, is that actually being confirmed by anyone, or is that just on Twitter?
It was just on Twitter. That's where I saw it.
All right, so it must be true then. So if he's got that, which is, it's not great to have malaria.
No.
Fair enough, but where is that player? Where, I don't know. Look, do I believe that it's right now that after Richarlison came out and said, I have, had all these issues, and then everyone said, oh no, well that means that every player who's playing poorly means that they have had a psychological breakdown, and we should cushion them and comfort them. I don't believe that at all. I think that I'm not like, oh, man up and all that. I don't care about that. But it doesn't mean that because one player has been off form and they've come out and said something, it means that all players are like that. I think it was the same time when Dele Alli said what he said as well. So I think that everyone went a bit overboard with that. With Bissouma, I don't know what the issue is. He's playing every game though, which maybe says something if you want to read into that. Like, there might be some things happening behind the scenes that aren't football related, and maybe. So Ange is persisting with him. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. Is that your bitch again, Josh?
It's not. It's not mine.
That's my bitch. Apologies.
Sorry, Johnny. Yeah. I mean, Johnny's not been on for so long. I'm calling him Josh.
I know. It's and obviously I'm out of tune because I haven't been on in a while, and my bitch is whining. My phones were ringing. I haven't even talked about Josh's mom enough.
Yeah. Well, yeah, not enough.
Yeah.
So in that game, I seem to be taking over the presenting thing. Johnny, over to you, mate. I'm gonna shut up and mute myself for 10 minutes.
No, do your thing. I mean, I think the game was we got a rough start like we have been in the past. I don't know how many matches. It's almost like we don't. Our second half always seems to be better than our first. It's kind of like when I'm with Josh's mom. There we go. Finally, yes. So Ange is a motivator, and I think that's what he's good at.
Yeah.
I don't think he's maybe he's much more of a football genius than I'm giving him credit for, but I think his main job is motivating people and teaching them that they can get it done, whether or not he's playing on the pitch with them or not. I don't know if Madison had a real good match. Not bad. I think a lot of people just had a good game, and Forrest played like shit. especially the second half.
Well, let's talk about Madison a bit. I like that Yates fella.
Yeah, fuck him.
I'm just really not. He's in the same mold as Matty Cash, but he's a bit cleverer at doing it than what Matty Cash is.
I did hear an interesting stat on the U.S. broadcast that I can't remember how long, but Forrest supposedly has had a homegrown player start every match for fucking a long ass time, numerous years. I didn't know that, and he's that mold for them right now. But regardless of that, fuck him.
What exactly happened between Yates and Madison? I didn't really catch on.
Mate, he was kicking him the entire game.
Oh shit!
Like it was like he was, and he did the same when we played him at their gaff. He was just kicking him like non-stop. And in the end, Madison, like throughout the game, there were two times I saw it on the TV. I don't know, I couldn't read lips, but it looked like Madison was saying, "Ref, are you gonna like give me some protection here or what?" And then Madison took it into his own hands, and he gave him a little bit of a rabbit punch, which was really funny.
Yeah.
Is that where he got booked?
No, he got who? Madison.
Yeah, did Madison get booked? I can't remember.
Yates got booked, but that was earlier on, wasn't it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then match that they picked
half.
it up. Yeah, like match that they picked it up. By the way, he had 4 yellow card offences before he received his first yellow card, Yates. Which was ridiculous. And then
just for reference, he had his yellow card was only 14 minutes into the fucking match, so that tells you how much of a shitty player he was being.
Yeah, and so then you had match of the day going like, mental about it, like Madison would have been sent off there and blah blah blah, all this crap. Yeah, all right, fair enough, but what kind of world do we live in when Yates should also been sent off by gesturing to the ref to take a look at VAR, because that is a bookable offence. So he would have got sent off. Madison would have got sent off, and I think to sort of save face, VAR just said let it go, because everyone saw that he punched him. It wasn't something that was hidden. It was quite obvious.
Do you think, out of curiosity, do you think that captains are are judged on a different level than non-captains?
Yeah.
Like they're less apt to give them cards. They're less apt to give them reds just because they're captains. It's assumed that they should be playing at a higher level and more respectful and all that bullshit.
Maybe.
Yeah, and it probably depends on who the captain is. True. Like Yates, I mean, he's got maybe just a touch more credibility with the refs. But like if it was Son, for instance, he would have like far more grace, I think, that with the refs than Yates would. But look, in that game, I thought that we start off well for like 15 minutes. I don't know if you notice this, guys. It's like Ange talks to him before the game, and he gives them the enjoy your lunch kind of thing, spiel. They go out for 15 minutes. Then whatever Ange just said to him wears off. I don't know if you noticed this, but it happened quite a lot. Then they go in for the second half, and he says something to him again, and it's like, we're coming out there, we're going to do it again. And then again, it sort of wears off. But then if you notice, it picks up again later on in the game. That's normally because games are longer and because we're a lot fitter than other teams. And especially teams like Nottingham Forest, where we pressed the hell out of them, and they had to go for the game. They couldn't just sit back anymore. And this thing, I don't know. Will it be solved? Like, will it be solved just with buying new players? I hope so.
This was a very common thing under Conte last season as well. We would only turn up for the second half or the first half even. We was always good in one half and not good in the other. So it might just be a club problem. I have no idea.
Yeah, but if that's inherent throughout the entire club, which I can't believe, mate. I can't believe that there is some sort of then we're sort of siding on but there's a curse kind of thing, right? So you can train this out of players. There's various ways you can do that. So if it is that, then just every window bring in some new players who will understand what their job is on the pitch, and what the manager says isn't a motivating factor. It's just like the green light to go and perform, and when they can do that, then that's perfect. Who's composing an email, by the way? Johnny, is that you again?
No, that's Josh.
That's me. Hang on.
What are you playing Rome Total War? Where are you? Have you taken over Capua yet?
No, I've actually played that for ages. Actually, did you hear that?
Yeah, we did hear that, and
My ankles are as bad as his legs.
oh, I'm really growing uncomfortable with this. So I have to ask this quick question. Wheelsy, did you turn around on 65 minutes?
No.
Did anyone
Probably
else
because
around
I
you?
wasn't aware of the clock. That's probably why I didn't turn around. But I don't know if I fully agree with the movement, because obviously the
Tell.
seniors.
This is interesting. Yeah.
Yes, this is going to be very controversial to some people. Obviously, the seniors have seen the club for years, and when they bought season tickets when they were our age, it was a lot cheaper. But now they're getting penalised by getting some things cut, and obviously we're still young, and some of us still don't have jobs and whatever. But we're still meant to pay way more than them at our young age, and it's only going to go up from now. So I think everyone should be treated fairly, if that makes sense. But
You're in the right place, mate. Because I just think it's silly. Okay, this is what I really think. We mentioned this on the group. Johnny, I don't know. Josh, who the hell are you writing a love letter to? What is it you're doing?
I'm just looking for stats. Okay, leave me be.
All right, okay. Well, you were sort of part of this. So let me, first of all, Willsey, 100% do we agree with you? And I was then listening to it was a painful listen to on the Fighting Cock, where they had Martin Cloak and Kat, I don't know her surname, on. And basically what happened was Flav was asking them about all of this, save our seniors business and all of this stuff.
yeah,
And I love Flav because he asks all the right questions. And he was like, well, don't you think that, the seniors have sort of had their time and maybe you're focusing on the wrong group? And then Kat, she was so aggressive. I don't know, Josh, if you had heard it, or if anyone, if you listening to this have heard it. She's like, yeah, the way her tone, it was quite funny. I found myself laughing throughout the whole pod. And I'll tell you what the conclusion was in a minute, or what I thought the conclusion was. But it was like, no, we're getting on them. But, if we don't stop this now, then they're going to come after the youngsters as well. Well, they're already after the youngsters. And number one, it's not really going after the youngsters. They're trying to maximise their revenue, and they will charge what they believe they can get away with, because they're selling seats abroad for it turns out, depending on where you're flying from, thousands of dollars or euros or pounds. So it includes hotel and blah blah blah, and flight over and hospitality and all that stuff. Hence why the hotels are going up. It's not just for the euros, which is what people think. It's not. It's so that they can maximize the day trippers, right? Yeah. And she was so. It was weird. It was weird listening to it. You know what it was like, and I wish Hannah was here for this, because she summed it up perfectly, and I won't do it injustice by, saying what she said. She'll say it next week. But when you have, for 10 years, people who were co-chair, both Kat and Martin, of the trust, and you've got a level of notoriety, and not everyone, but quite a few people look up to you, and this is the co-chair of the Spurs supporter, the official Spurs supporters trust. They sit in meetings with Daniel Levy, and they do all this. Then when you don't have that anymore, it's just like footballers who, when they play football and then they retire and they don't know what to do with their lives, they then latched onto the nearest thing that was akin to what they were doing before, which is this Save Our Seniors thing. And they're running with it, and they're making outrageous claims. Like on the pod, she said 10 to 15,000 people turned around at the Luton game. And it was like, number one, first of all, how can you possibly know that?
that's what
Really?
I was thinking.
How can you possibly know that, first of all? And I'm quite unhappy that Flav didn't ask that question. Their mates, he can't really go out for him. I wish they weren't here. I'd tear him a new one. But then it was like, so, right, But then when anyone says to you, by the way, if you ask for an approximation and someone gives you two numbers and they're 50% apart, then you've got a problem, because which is it? You know, if you said 10 or 11,000 people turned around, it's more believable. 10 or 15? So immediately I said, well, how do you know? How do you know that? They didn't answer that question, how they knew, but they gave out 22,000 flyers, so that must mean that 10 to 15,000 people turned around. Then it was, you know, they're making a really big movement here, and it's going so well, and at the end of the day, who's involved in it? It's, from what I can see, that we know, it's 4 people that were involved in the trust who aren't involved anymore, and it's like they just want that moment of glory again. And this is it. They found that thing that will get them there. And everyone seems to be okay. Oh, by the way, Wheelsy, if I say something, like, this is why the pod's great. If I say something and you don't agree with it, just come out and bite my head off, right?
Sure.
Just because you're on it, you shouldn't just agree with everything I say. If you turn your back on the pitch, you're not turning your back on Daniel Levy or the board. Wheelsy, who are you turning your back on? Remember, you turn back.
It's
on
normally
the
a
pitch.
thing of democracy. If I see a group of people doing something, I'll just follow. But if I was to turn my back, I think I'd turn my back on, like, as you said, I think Levy, because he's the one, like, also. No, now thinking about it, it's the
You wouldn't
cost of
turn your back
living
at
goes
all,
up.
would you?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's what caught me out. And just the cost of living goes up every single year, and now people are starting to complain about it. It's just, why?
But look, we said it's on the last pod, so clearly you've not been listening, which is fine. But, you know, shame on you. we
I'll take
it's fine. If you're turning your back on the pitch, you're turning your back on the players.
That is
So
true.
you can no longer call yourself a supporter. I don't know what you want to call yourself. You have gone in there and spent money, and then you're turning around. What the fuck is the point?
Yeah, that's
It's
delusional.
Yeah.
Basically, well, it's not really delusional. I'll tell you, because in the pod, the Fighting Cock one, they explained why, and you had to listen really carefully. It's all about the media attention. And if you get media attention, the 4 people that were involved in the trust are then back in the spotlight. Number one, who cares? I mean, yeah, we sort of care about seniors, but they've had their day in the sun. Let's help the people who can't afford to go to the games. Number two, if you really cared about the seniors, why don't you go and create a GoFundMe page and ask everyone to donate £6.60 or 60 pence. Sorry, I've been living away for too long. Right? Or if GoFundMe allowed it, 66 pence. Why not do that and then work with the trust and say to them, we're going to give you this money so you can give it to the seniors who actually can't afford to go and have stopped going or will stop going. Do something that actually makes sense. But turning your back on the playing staff, the people that you go there to support, after you've paid the money to go to the stadium, what the fuck is the point?
Yeah, that's insane.
And I must be missing a trick, because I've spoken to so many people about this, and every single person, and I say the same thing to them, it's like, guys, I'm not, if you think I'm wrong, just tell me. And they go, no, now you said, oh, this shit makes sense. Why would you turn your back on the players? I said, do something, chant something to Levy. Don't turn your back on the players, not them. They didn't come up with it. And it's just so sad. The whole thing is so sad, and I hope it dies down. I'm sure it will die down sooner or later.
I obviously wasn't on the pod the past few weeks, so I haven't had a chance to discuss it with you guys. But I guess I've got a bit of a different take because I'm from jolly old New England over here on the other side of the pond. But there's a couple things. So I've said it before in regards to other topics, but in the same essence, that the Tottenham is the product, right? It's the product that we are buying, whether we watch it on TV, whether we go to the match, whether we pick up a shirt, whether we, whatever it is, we're buying it. And we are buying it through our money, through our dollars, through our cents, through our following them on Twitter, etc. And if they're doing something that you fundamentally disagree with, if they're doing something that you disagree with to your core, that you think is just a bad decision and you can't handle it, then don't buy the product. Don't buy the product that they're selling. I know it's probably a bit different for me because, like Wheels grew up with a family supporting Tottenham, so it's a bit different, and I understand that it's a bit different. And I'm looking at it from a perspective of it's entertainment, and that's what it is. I know that it's a little different being, growing up around the stadium and being brought up in it, and it's almost like a lifestyle at that point. And I don't understand that perspective. I understand the perspective, but I can't put myself in that shoe. But if the club is doing something that you really, really disagree with, James, you kind of hit on it. Either do something to help fix it by, helping the people, especially when it's affecting people that maybe you think, oh, well, they can't afford it, or go away and choose to spend your money elsewhere. I mean, if there was something that seniors used to be able to do, but then everybody started doing it, and the price got up really high, you wouldn't see people screaming about, oh, we have to subsidize this product because these people used to do it over here. Well, what the fuck does that mean? Like, senior citizens over in this part of the world, they play a game called pickleball. I have no idea if it's over there on that side of the world, but it's basically like a little tennis game, right? Let's say, for instance, all these people started buying up the equipment out of the stores, and all this shit started getting really expensive. So seniors that are on fixed incomes and they don't have a lot of money, maybe they wouldn't be able to play it anymore. Are there going to be like people arguing to bring back the cheap pickleball equipment? I mean, it's that kind of just weird logic in my head that just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, yes, tickets are expensive. Yes, it's a world-class stadium that was built for a world-class team for a world-known entity. It's going to be expensive. This isn't a fucking mom and pop shop anymore.
No. That's a very good take.
And that's coming from a Yankee. So all you people who don't like me because I fly the red, white, and blue because I'm American, well, suck my dick.
And when like people come together and ask for like claps for when people like lose their lives at, let's say, the 75th minute or the 72nd minute or whatever, we don't turn our backs when we clap. We face the players, and for that 60 seconds where we're facing our backs, we're not watching our team like work their ass off to get us like results.
Yeah.
And I just think that's fucking disrespectful.
Bang on, mate. It is. Yep. It's one of the. I mean, I've seen Spurs fans do a lot. I've seen us do terrible things. Turning your back on those players is one of the most disrespectful things I've ever seen any fan do in any walk of life, because there are so many things that you could do to make a difference, and you are turning your backs on those players. Those fucking players who adore you, and yes, they adore you. We adore them and they adore, and you're turning your backs on them because 4 people who used to be on the trust, who aren't there, who want some fame again, have asked you to do it. Use your fucking mind. Please, use some critical thinking. Why would you do that? Do something else. Let's get together and say, what can we do? If it really means that much to you, put your hand in your pocket.
Yeah.
Why not do that?
Yeah.
Pay the difference for that octogenarian that used to go to the match and he sits next to you. You pay the difference if you think it's so important.
Josh, what does Todge and Hannah call it? Something activism? What's it called?
Literally thinking about that. Is it social activism?
No.
Or no, I was literally trying to think of it then while you were talking.
Can you ask? I'll tell you what. Let's do this live while we're here. 1 minute. Let's put Hannah on. Let me just call Hannah a minute.
She's probably asleep. She said she's absolutely ballsed up, didn't she?
She can wake up.
Oh.
Darling.
Yes.
What do you call it when something active? What's it called? The thing where people are turning their backs. What do you call it?
Turn your back to 65?
Yeah. What do you call it? What's it called?
You and Todge call it.
You and Todge had it. You and Todge called it something activism or something. What did you call it?
Performative activism.
Performative activism.
That's the one.
Good night. See you later. I love you. Bye. Bye. Performative activism. Right. That's exactly what it is. Because if
clout
you
chasing, basically.
Yeah. If you actually want to make and create change, unfortunately, you have to get your hands dirty, and turning your back on footballers isn't getting your hands dirty. And on the pod, she was saying, but it's symbolic of turn. And she gave some sort of reference that it's happened in the past, not with Spurs, but with some other kind of, I can't remember. It was boring, and that was the reason that we're turning our backs on the board. No, you're not. The board are in the director's seats. You're not turning your backs on them. Okay, I mean
they couldn't care any less about whether or not you face the fucking players on the field.
Right. So talking about look, there's a lot more I want to say about the game, and then we can move on to the financial statements, which we're not going to talk about too much on here because we are preparing a pod with a forensic accountant, my forensic accountant, who is so shy that we can't even get her to leave a voice note. You all know. Well, Wheelsy doesn't know who I'm talking about, but yeah, she's got a phobia against microphones. Like she won't even put headphones on. It's really weird. Yes, I think I'm talking about you. Yeah, no, she's lovely. She's just weird on things like that. So what she's gone through the accounts and she's given me some tidbits which were really interesting, but we'll cover those in a minute, guys. When the ball came to Van der Ven, were any of you like screaming? Maybe before it went to him, "Fucking shoot!" Were any of you like doing that? Because I was doing it for most of the game. Yeah.
I just shout shoot whenever anyone has the ball. I just want some action, you know.
Yeah, after the last couple
I was not
weeks.
expecting that to go in. I was not expecting that.
Where were you sitting, Wheelsy?
I was sitting in South Stand 257, so quite close to the goal.
Yeah, so behind the goal. And you know what the funny thing about that shot was? So you've never listened to the pod before, which is interesting. But there's a girl that comes to the pod. She's Russian and she lives in Cyprus, and there's loads of them in Limassol. That sounds so racist. I'm not Brexit at all. And she was in the pub again. And when that ball hit the net, actually it hit the net, trickled out, and then I screamed. That's how fast it was. Thank God she wasn't drinking her tea, because whenever I'm there and she's in the pub drinking tea for some unknown reason, she spills it all over her whenever Spurs score. And so thank God she had put her tea down for that moment, but she still jumped. It was really funny. She was like in front of me, she still jumped. It was wondrous. We don't score enough of those goals, and I miss it.
I didn't know he had it in his locker, to be honest, because obviously he scored at that Luton game away from that set piece. I did not know he could like strike a ball like that, but here we are.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense that he can strike a ball like that. The man can run faster than a fucking train, so he certainly has the fucking the legs for it.
True. I mean that must be the hardest hit goal this season.
I was looking everywhere to see if there was any stats on how fast the ball ran, and I didn't find it anywhere. I'm sure it's out there floating around.
I don't know why they don't show that anymore. Like they used to show it all the time. Even on Sky Sports, they used to like draw a line, and like back in, we're talking like mid-90s when, I don't know, do any of you remember Anthony Yeboah?
Nope.
Leeds. Right, Wheelsy, you got to look this up after the pod. All right. Look up Anthony Yeboah goals. Yeboah. Actually, do it now.
I think I know what goal you're going to talk about. This one where it's like bobbling about, and he just whacks it.
He was a great player for Leeds United, and he would hit the ball so fucking hard. I don't know. I mean, now he must be in his 50s. He probably can't walk. The way that he used to hit the ball. I think the goal I'm talking about was the one against Liverpool, and I was watching it live when it happened. I was like,
Jesus
wow.
Christ. I just saw it.
Yeah, fuck me. Yeah. Unbelievable. He was a great, actually, I would say great player. He wasn't. He was a bit lazy. He was a bit of an Ndombele. But then when the ball came to him, he could just, it didn't matter from which part of the pitch, he could just smack it faster than anyone else. The Sky Sports used to draw a line from where the ball left his foot all the way until it hit the goal, and they said, this is how fast it's going. I don't know why they stopped it. Anyway, it is what it is. We've spoken about Bissouma. We've covered Van der Ven. Porro had a better game. Udogi, not so much. But we got to let them off. They're kids. Let's be honest.
I didn't think he had a horrible game, though. I mean, people would be skating on him a bit. I mean, it wasn't earth shattering like we're used to, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
It was Bentancur and Højbjerg that They were the standouts. I think obviously Van der Ven was just great, but
Well,
in terms of
you-
changing the game,
What are you trying to say that we're the only pod to not give Werner his flowers? Because every other pod I've listened to has given him man of the match. So can we talk
I
about
wouldn't
him
say
a
he was
minute?
man of the, I do think Van der Ven probably was man of the match. I thought he was great, but Werner was a constant threat that whole game. The other time he was on anyway, because he was taking whoever their right back was. I have no idea who it was. He had him on toast, like straight from the off. He was going at him, and that's what we've missed for so long. Is a player that will go at their defender and just try and take them on.
Yeah, I think with Werner, I think what we've got to do is understand that he's very good. So he's a FIFA player. You know how you pass the ball to your wings and you can run and then you cross the ball in. He's one of those, right? Even though he's supposed to be a number 9. So I haven't played FIFA since 1998. Wheelsy, were you born in 1998?
2004.
Oh my
God, Christ!
Yeah.
2000. I'm old enough. How old is your dad, by the way?
I think 52 now.
Oh,
He's much older. He's not much older, but okay. As I'm old enough to be your dad. I was 24 when you were born. Right. So back in 98 when I used to play FIFA, what I used to do is like play the ball out to the wing. I'm sure you can do it now. I can't remember which button it was. One of the geometric buttons. And then you would run down the wing and then you would cross it in and someone would score, right? Werner is one of those players. But then if you were to try and get him to cut inside and shoot, it doesn't work. You think your gamepad is broken. Back in my day, they called them joysticks. Now I think that's a sexual term. And so So as long as you can understand that he's not going to be the type of player to then cut in and score and basically, at least 1 in 3 score. As long as you can get with the program that he's not going to do that, then you're gonna start to like him. It took me a while, by the way.
Well, there's some fucking, I can't remember which Twitter account was calling for it. Basically, I mean, there's a lot of people just criticizing him, saying that he's not scoring enough. They're criticizing or seeing maybe the player from Chelsea as opposed to the player that is with us now. But I'm in the same thing. I like his pace. I like the fact that he opens things up. He is constantly trying to make runs all the time. You see his hand up all the time, and he's just trying to move the ball. And that's what I love about him. He's just he is definitely built for the manager we have. I'll say that definitely.
There was this whole graphic that was like posted the other day. It said "Say no to Timo," and it was listed loads of fucking bullet points on why we shouldn't sign.
That's the one I was talking about, or I was thinking of.
I was thinking, what the fuck? That's such a shit take.
Fucking cocksucker.
What's his squad number, by the way? Do you know? Anyone? What's his squad number?
Off the top of my head, I cannot.
16?
Yeah, 16.
It is 16.
Yeah.
Do you think we should turn our backs on 16 minutes to Werner? All of us in unison, wherever you are in the world. When you see him, you turn your back on 16 minutes. What do you think, guys?
Yeah,
do you think that will get him going?
Yep.
Do you think that will make him go, right, fuck me? I mean, they're all turning their backs. I've got to, next time I shoot, I better damn well make sure it goes in.
Yeah, that'll make
that
Levy
might
want
do
to sell him.
something. No, but I definitely feel like he's a player we should sign on permanently because he fits the system so well. Like, we're doing attacking football now. He's got the pace. He knows how to control the ball. So I think he will a few years down the line he will improve.
And it's only 15 million, is it? It's not going to break the bank.
No.
Well, I've got a question on this actually. Maybe Wilson, can you answer this one first?
Yeah, sure.
So I don't know anything about Nico Williams. The only ITK stuff that I ever know is stuff normally around the finance world, like the fact that Spurs have been looking for investment and who they're speaking to. When I hear about it, I tell the guys. But when it comes to players, I have no idea, right? So Nico Williams, apparently he's God's gift to humanity on the left. I don't know, never seen him play. I won't look at YouTube clips. But let's just, maybe you know something about him, probably more than me, right? Hopefully, or this example goes down the toilet.
Yeah.
Let's just say you do. Right, okay. Now, knowing how our board operates, and obviously they make decisions if fans turn their backs on them. Knowing how they operate, in that they have a set budget, which is a good thing, but it's not a bad thing, right? If you run a business, have a budget, and that budget is, let's just say 65 million. Okay?
Okay.
And we've gone in with a bid of 50 million. And is it Bilbao? Is that who he plays for? Who's he play for?
Yeah, Bilbao.
Right, so Bilbao are mulling it over, and we're coming up to the deadline when Werner has to join sometime in June. And so we spend the 15 million, and now we have 50 million left, right, for a left winger. And we know that we do need a world-class one, and he fits the profile and all of this.
Yep.
And then Bilbao say to us, he's yours tomorrow for 58 million. And
Well, have
Levy
you just
says,
seen what I posted in the
what
chat?
have you said?
He's
What
got a
have you said?
48 million buyout clause.
Stop ruining my analogy. What the fuck's wrong with you? Just
I do apologise.
ignore that. Right?
party.
So yeah, Josh does that a lot. Him and his ankles. So Levy
My ankles have
then.
been good
So
tonight.
they have actually very good. So Bilbao say, up it by another 8 million, and he's yours tomorrow. Get him in before you go to pre-season. Before you go to your pre-season tour in Australia, he's yours. Levy says, guys, we don't have that money. We've spent it on Werner.
Just chuck in Brian Gill. Ship him off back to Spain.
No, they're not accepting it. They don't want any Beatles lookalikes. They don't want that. This is my concern. I am worried that this might actually happen. That we buy Werner because we want to use him on a squad rotation basis, because hopefully we'll have Champions League. But we're going to go after one of the big fish, one of the ones that everyone seems, all the YouTube fans, they love him. They've probably never seen him play other than the 7.5 minutes on YouTube, right? But everyone loves him, and he passes the Ange personality test. And then we don't sign him because we've gone and spent that money. And if that happens, I will turn my back on Levy, not the players. And that's my fear. I fear that. That's what I fear. So would I sign him? Yes, 100%. It's a no-brainer for 15 million in today's market. But if it impacts our budget on bringing in the player that we actually want, the game-changing player, or the player that we believe is a game-changing player, and we all know how Levy operates.
That's just a gamble you have to take in football. Like, nothing's ever set in stone. People would thought like we would be in 9th or 8th by the end of this season, but we've proven everyone wrong. So with your whole with your analogy on Werner and Williams, it's just a gamble that you have to take in football. Who knows? Next season, Werner might be one of our best players in the squad. It's just
what a fucking great response. Like the rest of you on this pod, why don't you answer like that? He's 20 years old. He's put all of you to shame.
I'm sorry,
I'm 20 next month actually.
Oh my God, it's even worse. How embarrassing. I mean, like, Hannah comes close to your kind of responses, but no, you've even put her to bed. I mean, I should probably like that. But yeah, well done.
You've infested my brain with dicks.
I'm
Fish fingers and dicks.
And I just sit here and think about Josh's mom all day, so.
And there's you.
Any other players that we want, or anything else that we want to talk about with the Nottingham Forest game? Actually, Wheelsy, when you were there, anything that you've thought, oh, that's interesting? Like, for instance, when is it Murillo?
Yeah.
Yeah. When did you see that ball coming towards the goal, and what did you think?
Like, honestly, I heard people celebrating in the south stand 3 seconds after the goal went in. We didn't even see what was happening, because they were trying to handle the ball inside the box, and it just came off Murillo and deflected in. So we wasn't.
Oh no, not that one. The one where he shot from he basically shot from in third. I don't know where you live, but I used.
That was fucking scary.
I was raised in Palmer's Green in N13, and it basically he shot from N13. That's a postcode, Johnny, and Americans listen to this, and Spurs are in N17, just so you know.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, and yeah. So when you saw that one coming, what do you think?
Yeah, my apologies. I thought you was on about the own goal. Because I was on the side of the ball when he shot it. It genuinely looked like it was going into the corner of the net, but it just went to the side of it. And me and my mate was thinking, "Fucking hell!" He tried to do a Harry Kane, but obviously it didn't fucking go in. So if that went in, we wouldn't have heard the end of it.
Look, I don't know, Johnny. I think me and you sort of get the same feed, but we don't have American commentators.
Yep.
But from the angles that it looked like it was going in.
Oh yeah, for sure. I thought it was going
and
in too.
I held my breath and I went, "Oh, it's gone wide. It's gone wide." Oh, thank
Yep.
fucking God for that.
Yeah, and
When I was
I think
watching it-
the announcers actually said, "What is Vicario doing? He's so offline," or something like that. And I'm like, "What are you talking about? That's how he plays. That's his style. Like, leave him alone."
Did they actually
Well,
say he's offline?
Or off of his line, I think is what they said. They said,
Oh, I was gonna say
Yeah.
like
He logged off. He was offline.
yeah. That's just my more American sense coming through again. You know, out of balance and such.
faucet, aluminum. Fucking give us back our words.
Aluminum. It's great.
Sidewalk.
Fanny pack.
Yeah,
Water out of the spigot.
Oh, you fucking colonial commoners. Right, so financial records. We're not going to say much, in fact, none at all, because we do have a pod coming up about that. It will be done next week, and I'm hoping to have. I'm hoping to have one person on who is an accounting forensic analyst. Is that what Hannah calls him?
I thought
I
she
don't know
called
what
him.
Hannah calls him. She probably calls him daddy.
I was going to say the exact same thing, Josh. Verbatim. I was going to say the same thing. That's phenomenal.
Great minds think alike, don't they?
They do. I mean, it's only fair. We've both been that same vagina. Good old Lisa.
Fuck's sake. I can't even. I'm not
sorry,
even
Wheelsy.
Is
Wheelsy,
the pod like this every week?
Well, yeah, I know if you listen to it, you would know. Yeah,
To be fair,
but-
Johnny goes in on my mum, literally, and then I always hit him with 9/11 stuff. So
Just the casual stuff, innit?
Yeah, this is just run of the mill. Talk about Elisa's boobs and her vagina, and then there's a
planes
school,
going down into, into North
planes,
Tower.
planes going into towers and school shootings is pretty much what they fire at me, Wheels. So it is what it is.
You wouldn't have it any other way, though, would you?
No freedom.
Did we get any questions? Oh, here we go.
We did. We got
Yes,
a
we
few.
got about 3, I think, on that Twitter post.
Johnny, do you
was
want
checking
to
it.
do the honours? Do you have them up?
Yep. Let me scroll to them real quick in my chat here, motherfucker. My fucking
What is
dog's-
that noise?
That's fucking dog. She's whining like a
Proper grumble that was.
that's a bitch in heat.
Oh,
I don't think she's in heat though. She better not be. All right. So are we potentially seeing? This is from Quarms, KWARMZ at THFC _ Quarms. I don't know how the fuck to say it. Are we potentially seeing the reason why no other top club went for Madison? For he seems a bit off a MOTD player. I don't know what the fucking MOTD player is.
Match of the day.
Oh yeah, inconsistent, but does something flashy now and then. Are we
I
seeing
think
why no other club
that's
went for him? That's a good
very
question.
subjective. Every player has their own like patch where they're just not good enough. We saw that in Arsenal with Havertz. Now he's having like the form of his life. But just like I said before with Werner, just give him time, get him to gel into the squad even more, and we will see the Maddison that he once was with Leicester. I don't think that comment is like describing Maddison as a player. It's just his current form, and that's definitely going to change.
I mean, I think we lucked out getting Madison for the price we did, but Wheels, you make a good point. I mean, this is still he still has less than a year under Ange, and in the squad at Tottenham. So I mean, it's these are still early days. Like let's get some more gelling to happen.
He was out for 3 months, wasn't he?
And his longest
Yes.
worst injury ever. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't think he's fully recovered. I mean, it's
No.
obvious.
I feel like
because you
we
don't
may
go
have
for the
rushed
player.
him back.
Yep.
Maybe, and maybe he rushed himself back. So he was saying he was going to be back a month before he did come back. If you remember, he is opinionated. He is that kind of player.
But I love
it. Yeah, exactly. You know,
He
just,
runs his own social accounts as well, doesn't he?
Does he really?
He hasn't got. I think so. I'm pretty sure he does.
He does, I believe.
I always
Any
like
other
him.
questions?
I know Richarlison definitely does.
Oh yeah.
He runs the Spurs accounts on TikTok.
Yeah. So that's one question. Next question from Beaky. at THFC Beaky. Dream and realistic signings for the summer.
Well,
Josh-
dream would be Mbappe.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the obvious one, right? Of course.
We can afford him, can't we?
We can afford
Of
anyone,
course.
except there's not the wages. We can afford him as the player. We just would be able to afford to run him.
No, but there's no transfer fees.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we just put his. Yeah, that's true.
Like mentioned before, Williams may be good, but it just depends on like the budget that we get in the summer. I think the midfield needs a bit more depth, if I'm honest. Probably the centre defence midfield, like the CDM area.
I'll tell you who I
Not
like.
the
I like Onana at Everton. I reckon he would be very good. And they are a bit low on the old funds, so Levy could activate his bailiff to go and take away some of their assets that they can't afford at the moment.
If they get relegated, they might just have to be forced to sell him. But
Literally.
Oh, that fucking crack baby Trossard just fucking brought it equal 2-2.
fuck's sake.
Look at these fans. So I don't know anymore.
They're the only fans in there as well. Bayern
look,
Munich fans weren't even allowed to go in.
Look at those fucking flags. Oh, what a plastic club. Anyway, bailiffs in Liverpool. Really? Is that what... Sorry, Johnny, you might not get this reference, but
Nope.
Can't pay, we'll take it away.
I think the reason they hate Manchester so much is because most of stuff that was taken away from Liverpool because they didn't pay for it is now stored in Manchester in lockup. Any other questions?
There's one more.
One more from Craig. Craig01. 01. Yep, Craig.
Craig, not Craig.
Craig. What the fuck was with the atmosphere at Spurs versus Forest? On TV, it sounded like you could hear a pin drop before our second goal. Wheels, you can talk about that.
Well, from my experience, I don't think we were that quiet. Obviously, when they equalised, then the Forest fans were a lot louder. Obviously, because they can just give the big bollocks. Oh, champions of Europe, you'll never sing that like they always do. But I just think it's a similar story. We just don't perform in the first half, and the fans just expect it, so we go quiet. And that's just the way it's always been this season. But it will get better. I'm sure it will get better.
Well, look, I don't think there's a problem. Right, let me explain what I mean by that. You're with a girl, right, and you've wanted to shag her for ages, and she sort of she messages you. She says to you, listen, a bit horny. Do you want to come round? And you go round.
You so good to me, James.
She's on the bed, and you go, right, let's get it on. Let's go for it. You like rip off your clothes. You try and take off. No, she says slowly. Right, okay, right, and sort of take off her clothes, and you're there, and you're trying to do what you need to do, and finally get it in, and she sort of turns her head to the left and smiles a bit, and that's it. Moves up and down. And you're going, oh, well, I mean, can I get something back from you then? Anything? It's like, well, no, I mean, this is it. This is what it is. And it's like, I think we've always been, and not just us, most fans of football clubs that aren't like the Euro boys where they just have their flags around and they just chant about what's going on. They're not even looking at the pitch. Cat and the rest of them. It's a reactionary thing, right? So if stuff isn't happening on the pitch, and plus we're scarred as Spurs fans, do you know what I mean? We're always thinking, oh, the other team, we could be 15-0 up, and the other team, oh, they're gonna bring it back. There's 30 seconds to go, but they will score 16 goals, and that's how we're programmed as Spurs fans. And unless we start to see something, and this give and take happens, then really that's what happens. I don't like it. I wish we were louder. I wish we were more like the away fans because they're fantastic, but we're not. That's the reality, and it is what it is. And I think that in years to come, we're going to have a great atmosphere if we continue on this trajectory that we're on with Ange and certain other players are brought in, and we can really go for that gung-ho, swashbuckling action, all-go game, and we can kill off teams. It won't happen all the time, but most of the time, it will start to be programmed into us to start to sing a lot more. Do you know what I mean? But until then, it is what it is.
I mean, it's a lot better this season than what it was last season. We have like a whole drum going in the south stand, the Ange Postecoglou chant, the whole throughout the whole game. It's more lively than what it was last season. That's for sure.
Well, definitely. By the way, Johnny, do you hear the drum when you're watching it on TV?
No, not at all.
I don't either.
It's very loud where I sit.
Right next to you.
just behind me.
Is the drum you reversing into the wall?
Potentially. But must I add, I was not expecting Spurs being compared to foreplay. It wasn't on my bingo card for this podcast.
You need to listen to us a lot more. I mean, you'll learn a thing or two. But
for sure, I will.
So
I mean, it's hard to. Obviously, I've never been there, but just me speaking from a fan of other clubs and other sports and other teams, and going to sports venues. There's always a lull during any match, any game, any competition. There's just a lull because you can't be screaming for fucking 2 hours. You know, I mean, you could, but maybe Levy should be pumping in amphetamines to the stands or something. I don't know. It's just you can't do it. You know, there's always going to be a lull where you just want to sit back and kind of watch and be entertained. Again, going back to that whole entertainment speech that I had.
In my opinion, they should just allow beer back into the stands because you have to drink it in the foyer because they don't allow you to go out with a cup of beer.
Wait,
and it's
what?
Yeah,
but
it's a UK.
You know
rule.
why, right? Yeah, but I mean, if I'm Daniel Levy, I would 100% say that rule has to stay, because if I can keep you nearer the bar, the chance of you going to the bar and getting another drink is much higher, rather than taking
more money,
one drink.
more
Yeah,
revenue.
exactly. Of course it is, right? It's like, for instance, the old, people who are not going to get concessions anymore. Think about it. Do they really drink as much? Do they eat as much? Do they do what someone who is 18 to 40 does or plus? With regards to revenue streams at Spurs and eating and drinking, no. And so this is why clubs are doing it. I don't see that rule changing anytime soon, unless you've got like the ultra VIP seats, which are season tickets start at 5k. Then yeah, you can take your drink down to your seat, to your heated seat as well. That I understand, but to as you Americans say, coach. No, it's not going to happen. I don't see that changing.
I never knew that. That's crazy.
Huh. Moving on to Newcastle then. What do we want to say about them?
They are very
Injuries.
hot and cold, aren't they?
They have lots of injuries, so they could go either way.
Let's just quickly check.
Is Gordon back?
I can check the injury list now.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. According to Premier Injuries, which is asking me to verify that I'm a human being. Fuck you.
Livramento, Botman, Pope, Almiron, Target, Miley, Trippier, Willock, Joe Linton, Lascelles, Wilson, and obviously Tonali's suspended, but that's all of their players that they can't use.
They've still got Bruno Guimaraes and...
Yep.
Who else is there?
Isak's
Isak's back, isn't he? Yeah.
That's a lot of players that are out, by the way. We're talking major first teamers like Botman, Lascelles, Tonali. Well, I'm just basically repeating what you just said, Wheelsy. Wilson. I don't know who Lear. Oh, Joe Linton. Oh my goodness me, he's out as well. Almiron, who always seems to do well against us. Pope, yep. Trippier's out. Willock. Are they going to be able to field 11 players?
Yeah, they'll probably have a decent starting 11, but the people they bring off the bench will absolutely reek.
True.
Newcastle United fixtures. I want to see what the trend has been with them. Is that Thomas Partey about to come on to bring on a rapist? Am I allowed to say that allegedly? Can I can
Yeah,
say
you have to say
can't
it.
I? Yeah,
An alleged, about
sorry.
to bring on an alleged rapist.
Yeah. So their fixtures. Let's see what they've done in the last few fixtures. Where are we? Here we go. So they drew. No, they beat Fulham. They drew to Newcastle, Everton at home. Interesting. That game against West Ham was a great game, by the way. West Ham was so stupid, taking off their striker. Anyway, they lost to City. That was the FA Cup. Lost to Chelsea.
Yeah.
And then, beginning of March, beat Wolves 3-0, which was basically the only great result in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 games. So if we're doing a 6-game swing, then they should beat us. But we don't believe in 6-game swings. So and based on all their injuries, I don't know. Honestly, I wasn't joking about it. I don't know how deep is their squad. Goodness me, I'm looking at it now. Well, look, I think Eddie Howe's a good manager, and I think that he believes that he can set up his side to counter what we're going to do, even though most of them are out crocked. This is one of the games that we have to win, isn't it, really?
Yep. It is indeed.
Completely
Because
agree.
like we can afford to lose to City and Liverpool.
I'll take them losses.
Yeah. City, I think we can beat them. I know you probably want to lose them. For Arsenal, I don't care. Whoever we're playing, I want to win. But yeah, we have to beat Newcastle. I'll tell you what, my prediction then is we will win 1-3. There you go.
That's yours, is it?
Yeah. So we are playing Newcastle at 12:30 UK time Saturday.
I
We've
think
got the other
in the
predictions,
words
haven't
of in the words of Johnny's people, I believe that we will win, and I
We
think
will
we
be
will
victorious.
Get the W.
win. I think we will definitely concede a goal or two,
Oh yeah, obviously.
either a 3-1 or a 4-2 Spurs. I'm saying, I'm not sure what one it is, but
I'll put
I'm
you down
gonna
for a
say
4-2.
I'm gonna go safe and say 2-1.
2-1. You're off your clean sheet kick, are you?
Yeah, I've run out of that now.
Hannah's
What was the
is
last
a
clean sheet?
3-2.
3-2.
Oh,
Okay.
that was. Oh, when was the last clean sheet? I don't know. Was it this year?
I think
Oh,
it was
clean
Villa
sheet.
actually.
Yeah, right.
It's crazy how like we dropped off after that game. It was just weird. We had
Yeah.
like the best game of our season
Yep.
away, and then we just lost 3-0 to Fulham like it was nothing.
I'm going to go 3-0. Fuck it. I'm
Good
doing
one,
it.
For a clean sheet.
That's right. I'll be the clean sheet captain this time, since Josh is dropping the fucking ball.
Yeah, I bottled it after so long of asking for clean sheets. I've
Well,
given up.
you got it once. I think. Didn't you say that you were going to get? Didn't you call the Aston clean sheet? Villa.
Probably not.
You fucking loser.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I don't think that's quite apt, is it?
So we'll see. How's it been for you, mate?
What in terms of football or just in general or the podcast?
Well, the pod.
Has it been really good?
It's been
Yeah.
really good, mate. I've enjoyed myself.
How many shitty wheelie jokes have you heard in your life, Wheels?
Probably more than what I can count
Yeah.
on one hand.
I'm not. I think you're smarter than that. I'm not going to waste your time saying a really good joke like that.
Of course.
That's such a dad joke. You are a dad.
I am. That makes perfect sense.
Me and Johnny are allowed.
Yeah. That's
It's
right.
all good though. I've had it all my life, and I just you can't just like think that everything's just like a violation. You just got to laugh at it, you know. That's
Yeah.
just the way I've always seen it. So it doesn't.
Too many people use it as a defense mechanism, don't they? As something to hide behind.
They think they can beat you with it, but you just got to give them the big middle finger, you know.
Yeah,
Do
just
the
own it,
donuts.
mate. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Just run over
Own
them
it.
their toes, isn't it?
Right, so I'm gonna end with this. Own it. Don't wear a scarf. Right, this has been Hotspur Way, season 1, episode 41. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
There you go. So I balls it up at the end. See you guys next week. Bye bye. Oh, look, this is where you all say goodbye. By the way. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I know. Normally you
Yeah.
lead us into it.
Bye.
We got a bit
Yeah,
lost.
well,
then.
I mean, come on. I mean, I wasn't really hosting this one. I just waffled a lot on this.
I need my handheld. at
Right.
times
So,
like this.
okay, Josh, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Say goodbye, Johnny. Can you do it in a really good American, deep South accent?
With lots of like
try.
molasses.
With lots of the molasses.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Oh yes.
Best I
don't
can
know,
do.
Sound like you're from Newcastle. And say goodbye, Wheelsy.
Goodbye.